Hello and thank you for joining me again on Run Level 0. I've been very excited to do this review. This is a follow-up. Makulu Linux XFCE 4.4 is now available. I downloaded this yesterday morning and installed it, and I've been playing with it for the last 24 hours just to make sure I gave it a thorough look and could bring you a complete review. It was really hard forcing myself to wait this long to film this because, folks, I am really excited about the directions in which Makulu is taking, and more specifically how much they listen to their users and their community, and they incorporate those changes that we would like to see. Makulu is, in my opinion, maturing very well. It's moving in the right direction, and I'm just excited to be a part of following them and seeing how they're growing as a distro. So let's dive right in. Makulu. On December 23rd, 2013 at 7:20 a.m., Makulu Linux XFCE 4.4 came online. And just there's some notes here. Be sure you go to their website, makululinux.com, and check out their blog. Mr. Ramir, I hope I'm saying his name right, Jacques Ramir, has some nice notes on here on what they've incorporated. And he says, the XFCE series has been a pleasure to work on and by far my favorite, mostly because it is such a flexible distro to build on, and what a learning experience it has been for me. In this particular build, I spent a lot of time going through emails, watching reviews of our previous builds, and reading comments, seeing where I could improve and try to focus on what users wanted. Therefore, version 4.4 brings a few radical changes and new additions to the table. I hope this build will please users for the most part and deliver on expectations. And then here's a breakdown of what has changed since the previous build. And we're going to go through and look at a lot of these. In my last Makulu review was the KDE edition. We looked at a few of the changes that have been implemented, and a lot of those changes have actually been ported over from KDE to XFCE. And one of those is let's take a look at it, is the Logon Manager. So let's get over to it. So you can see that they have incorporated the logon screen from the KDE version. This is installed to my hard drive. I have it running in a virtual box. As with all my virtuals, I've given it 2 dedicated processors and 2 gigs of RAM to work with. And one thing I can say right off the bat, and we're going to take a look at some actual usage here in a minute, but this is one of the snappiest, most responsive implementations of XFCE that I've had the pleasure of working on. That's one of the things that struck me right off the bat, was how fast it operates. So let's get logged in. Logon time is fairly quick. Not the fastest I've seen, but you know what? There's a lot going on here on the desktop, so it is fairly quick. So logging in, you can see that they've ported over this news ticker for Makulu, which is a novel idea. Before Makulu, I don't think I've seen this implemented on any other desktop. So what this is a news feed giving you all the latest updates about what's going on in Makulu. If you don't like it, you can always turn it off and remove it. No, that's no big deal. You still have the traditional desktop layout with a set of icons on one primary desktop and a single panel running along the bottom. They have some nice transparencies already in operation. On the desktop, you have shortcuts to your home, your file system, and trash bin. I like how that nice pop-up hits you right in the face. Of course, you have the traditional Makulu Hippo wallpaper, which we're going to take a look at that a little bit more in a minute. A new addition down here on the right, every hour you get a new quote of wisdom, as it were, down here in the corner, this will change every hour. Little inspirational quote there. And we're going to look at how you can control that in just a minute. The primary file browser is Thunar, which is the default file browser for XFCE desktop. It's running Thunar 1.6.3. They have revised their icon scheme, and it's still in keeping with their lighthearted approach to the desktop, and I appreciate that, how they've remained true to who they are and their roots. But it's been refined quite a bit, and to me, I like it a lot better than the previous XFCE implementations. On this primary panel, the lower right-hand corner, is the calendar and clock. It gives you a shortcut to Orage. Right next to it, let's get into this. You have variety. Now, variety is what is driving this quote down here in the corner, and it's also going to change your wallpaper every hour. So when you get logged in, if you want to, you can come down and go to Preferences. And this is where you can set up your desktop. So you can, if you don't want variety to run, you can just uncheck off the General tab here, Start Variety when computer starts, and you'll shut that whole randomized wallpaper and quote down. Or if you want to, you can go to, I believe it is Customize tab. Nope. There's a lot of customization you can do here, including there we go, including random effects on your desktop. But quotes, that's under the Effects tab. Show random wise quotes on the desktop. If you untick that, the quote will go away. So there's a lot of customizations and eye candy that you can actually bring into your desktop from here. So I really like that. We're going to look at the wallpaper selection in a moment. Continuing on the panel, you have alarms, which would be like notifications for Orage. There is the network monitor, your system updater. If you see the shield with the green check mark, that means that your system is up to date. Otherwise, there'll be a notification icon where you can go in and update your system. Next is the volume control. If you right-click it, it'll give you a shortcut to your mixer. And there's a handy weather applet. If you roll over top of it, it'll give you a pop-up and give you the local weather. Of course, as is traditional, open applications will be displayed in the central portion of the panel down here. And on the lower left-hand side, there is quick access to your file manager, Chromium Web Browser, your terminal, Software Manager, which is, of course, let me give it my password here. The Software Manager has been ported over. Ooh. Helps if I spell it right. I'm using too many systems. Third time's a charm. Okay, here it comes. Alright. The Software Manager has been ported over from Mint. That is the Mint Install 7.4.4. Mint Install is one of the more user-friendly and beginner-friendly software managers that I've seen. All the software is categorized. So if you're looking for a new web browser, say, you don't like Chromium, you want to go with something else, you can just go into Internet. And then from there, you'll be able to browse down into web browsers. Now, the one drawback to Software Manager, as you just saw, it's not the fastest software manager out there, but it is stable, it is categorized, and it is easy to use. So those balance out the lack of speed, in my opinion. It's a good, solid software manager. Let's see. They've also included a little quick launch here to update your repositories. So with a single click, this will run an apt-get update in the background for you. So that's a nice little feature. While we're on these quick launches, let's take a look at the Chromium Web Browser, because they've done some nice stuff with Chromium here. Alright, Chromium, they have it running with a really nice brush metal theme, and it's running Foxtab by default as your start page. They've gone ahead and customized it and added several additions to Chrome to make it, well, ready to go out of the box. Has a very nice, pleasing theme that's in keeping with the rest of the system theming, that kind of dark black gray kind of theme, and it's very easy on the eyes. The Gmail checker, Facebook, notifications, Twitter, all that's already installed, just waiting for you to sign in and to be configured. You also have Google Chrome to Phone extension installed, as well as TamperMonkey. So there's a lot going on right out of the box. They've already done and configured for you. I like those little extra steps. Down on the far lower left-hand corner of the panel is your menu, and of course they have stuck with the implementation of the Whisker Menu, which I love. Whisker. It is a modern, up-to-date, searchable menu system. So if you want to look for a terminal, you just start typing term and terminal pops up. You have a favorites. It shows you recently used. And then, of course, your applications are categorized in typical Linux fashion in accordance with what their purpose is. But before we dive into seeing what's installed, let's take a look at the favorites. One of the drawbacks that I've seen in previous implementations of Makulu is their theming. While I appreciate their lighthearted approach and I like it personally, it kind of limits the people that would be drawn to it. You could be actually turning people off by its jovial, lighthearted look. So what they've done now is, right here on the favorites is the XFCE theme manager, and they have included a ton of themes for you to customize your system any way you would like. So you have standard themes, and I mean you can. There's a lot going on here, more than many of the custom distros that I've seen. So you can find something in here you like, and you have themes, you have a bunch of window borders that you can choose from, control themes, icon schemes. There are several icon schemes. So if the one that Makulu is using Buff 3.10, so if Buff doesn't work for you, you can easily change it. There are several cursors installed. Let's take a look at the wallpapers. Let's go to the desktop. We're going to right click, go to desktop settings, and now you can see there are lots of wallpapers installed, and actually there are only a couple of them that have hippos on it. Let's walk through a few of those. So as you can see, there's a large variety of beautiful wallpapers already installed. There's something here that's sure to appeal to just about everybody, and it would make it appropriate for your home computer, a school computer, yeah, or even a professional environment. There are wallpapers here that would be appropriate for that, as well as a couple of their standard hippo themes. But there's a lot going on here, and they've made customizing your desktop look and feel just so much easier now. And I really have to say bravo to Makulu on that. They have listened to their users. They've taken all the suggestions under advisement, and I really appreciate it when a desktop does that. So good on them for that. I really appreciate the fact that they did that. So back to the options here. Alright, so we have on our favorites the File Manager, Web Browser, which is again Chromium, a shortcut to the terminal, and the terminal itself has been themed very nice. Some nice transparency and color options. I really appreciate Makulu's attention to detail. I see you have the Software Manager, Task Manager. Let's take a look at that right quick. So right now it's running at 18% on the memory. So we're running at just shy of 300 meg of RAM, which that's really slim, even by XFCE standards. That's very slim. Let's see, we have a shortcut to our mail reader, which I didn't look at that. Who were we using as mail? Let's let that launch. Okay, Thunderbird. Very good. So we are using Thunderbird for our email. You have a shortcut to your device driver manager. This is a handy utility because it makes, let's get it launched here, it makes handling of your system drivers, your hardware drivers, really easy. There we go. Just takes it a minute to launch. And it's checking your hardware. It'll take a look and just show you everything that's available, what you have installed for graphics, wireless, your kernel. So it just makes management of your system so much easier and a bit more intuitive. For the more advanced users, if you don't like Mint's Software Center, they have included the Synaptic Package Manager. So I really like that. That's a wise move. You have the Update Manager, Settings Manager that will launch your system settings menu. So you have everything you need right at your fingertips. Let's see, under Accessories, let's hit on a few things here. Cherry Tree has been installed, hierarchical note-taking. The Conky Theme Manager. Now, Conky is not enabled by default, but you have the Theme Manager for Conky already installed. So if you want to use Conky on your desktop, you have a ton of options here for enabling Conky. There you go, starting up right away. And of course, you can go in and edit any of those themes that you want. So you can move it around the desktop, position it where you want, color it how you want. So I really like the Conky Manager. Let's see, what else do we have in here? LeafPad is an excellent text editor. Of course, Orage, there's a shortcut to open up a root terminal. Sensor Viewer. Sunflower was a nice addition. This is the first time I've seen Sunflower implemented. It is a tabbed file manager. So you can open up multiple tabs here and have several different views of different folders going on at the same time. And there are a few options you can run. I mean, it's really nice being able to have a terminal running in the browser, So yeah, and if you're working with a lot of files at one time, you're doing bulk renaming or moving large numbers of files, you can do that quite easily just by having the two tabs open. So yeah, I like Sunflower. Look forward to playing with that a bit more. There's a lot going on here, folks. Of course, you have Thunar. There is a handy USB image writer. Yeah, I left my menu there. Alright, let's get back over. Alright, yeah, there's a handy USB image writer and a USB stick formatter to make handling your thumb drive and removable media very easy. Under Games, there are quite a few games installed, including Steam and Play on Linux are both there for you. Under Graphics, you have the GIMP is installed now. Under Internet, in addition to the Chromium Browser and Firefox, or Thunderbird, you have Deluge for your BitTorrent. Dropbox is here for you to configure. Of course, they've kept FlareGit, which is an excellent multi-thread download manager. Mumble for your voice chat. NitroShare, Pigeon Internet Messenger, and Ticker, which is your feed reader going on up here. Under Multimedia, there are quite a few multimedia options, including Audacious is now for your music listening pleasure. FF Multiconverter, which is a GUI front end for FFmpeg. Handbrake is now installed for ripping DVDs. Minitube for watching and downloading YouTube videos like Run Level 0. P2V video editor, Pulse audio control, VLC media player, Voco screen is still there, excellent screencasting utility, and XF Burn. Under Office, I was pleased to see that they've kept Kingsoft. Kingsoft is an excellent program, and it is fully compatible with Microsoft Office, and it actually has a layout and feel very similar to Microsoft Office. Under Settings, of course, you're going to have your basic array of computer settings options here, but there is a backup utility. Again, the Device Driver Manager, a Grub Customizer where you can customize the Grub screen, the login window, which their login window is running on MDM, which is again ported over from Linux Mint, and it supports lots of themes. They only have the one installed right now, but you can quite easily go out to the web and download others. The great thing about the new MDM is it supports GTK, GDM, and HTML theming, so you have a lot of options there. Let's see. Of course, Gparted is installed. Just want to hit on some of the highlights here. Again, you have Synaptic installed. Window Manager tweaks. This is where you're going to go to. These two is where you're going to go for your compositing of your desktops, where you're going to get your transparencies and the like. But you already have a lot of transparencies. A lot of that stuff's already configured for you, so you really shouldn't have to tweak that. BleachBit, we're down in the system menu now. BleachBit is installed, which again I highly recommend that, especially if you do any secure logins, banking or shopping online, anything professional on your system. Go ahead and run BleachBit on a regular basis. It just cleans out all those unnecessary files, helps keep your system more secure. If the data is not on your system, then nobody can steal it, right? Again, you have the Grub Customizer, and just your average array of system configuration utilities. Wine is also installed for you, so if you have Windows applications you want to try to get up and running, you can try that here with Wine. Now, a note, we are on the user, this is also where the users and groups shortcut is. Just a note about installation. If I had to give Makulu any negative points, it would be on the installer. Now, not saying that the installer is bad. I like their installer. They have some excellent options. But when you install Makulu, you have two choices. You have a simple installation and an advanced installation. If you choose a simple installation, you're going to be asked a couple of questions, and then it's going to install the base system on your computer, and that includes Makulu as the system name or the host name, Makulu as the username, as well as the password. So that's not as secure, and in the future I hope that they implement on the simple install just a prompt for a new host name, username, and password. So I would like to see that happen. Now, you do have those options on the advanced install, and the advanced install has some great options out there. If you're using Makulu in a school or a professional setting, and you know, in those settings, a lot of times you have to rotate computers. You know, a student or an employee will leave or get promoted or move out of an office, so you get their computer back. Then you have to wipe it, reload it, and redistribute it. With Makulu, the advanced install gives you the option to write random data and or write zeros to the hard drive before it installs the system. So it's a way of more securely deleting the previous user's data. So you can make sure that none of their stuff, you know, your proprietary or school info, the user's personal info is all protected before the computer's redistributed. So I really liked seeing that. But should you choose a simple install, let's walk back through this. The first thing I want you to do when you log in for the first time, your username is going to be Makulu, your password is going to be Makulu. First thing I want you to do is go down to Menu, go to System, go down to Users and Groups, and you're going to change your username and password. This is just for basic security. You can see your username. You're going to click Change. Okay. Ooh, no. Yeah, even more hit. I thought I was going to help you out with that. But it's not letting us do that, probably because Makulu is the sudo account. So I hope that they actually fix this in the future. I would have thought it would have allowed you to change it, but apparently it's not going to let us do that. So that's disappointing. So you are going to have to go with the advanced install if you want a more secure system. The advanced install I would not recommend for new users. So hopefully they'll fix that in the near future. I would definitely say use Makulu. It is a wonderful system, but if you're not a more advanced user, if you're not comfortable with that advanced install so you can change the username and password, I wouldn't use it for anything other than casual use, just because you are using a default username and password. Let's see if you can change your password at least. Yes, you can change your password. So you're going to give it the default password of Makulu, and then you're going to give it a new password. So at least you can change that. I hope. Let's see what happens. Yes. So you can change your password. So at least you can do that. All right. Well, that said, I feel a bit better about that. At least you can get that password changed, but I would like to see you be able to be prompted on the simple install for a new username and password. But other than that, I really have nothing bad to say about Makulu. I love the system. I'm excited to see where they're going with it. I know the video went kind of long, but there's a lot going on here. Do yourself a favor, download Makulu, give it a try. Let me know what you think about it. Thank you for joining me. I hope to be with you soon for another video.